Hi everyone and welcome to this video. In this particular video, I'm gonna share 3 things that I like, I would say I love about Cyprus, and 3 things that I absolutely hate about it. As a matter of fact, if I just tilt my head slightly to the right, I'm literally looking at one of the things that I really hate and I would probably never get used to. Alright, without further ado, I would say let's get right into the video. If you like these kind of videos on Cyprus, then please subscribe and also let me know in the comments or like it. Then I know that I might even do a part 2 of this particular topic. Part number 1, what do I really like and love about this? Living in Cyprus. I've been living in Cyprus for about 9 months here, and one of the things that I still enjoy every single day is groceries, opening hours, and delivery. I kind of summarize that as one point because it makes it super convenient. If you're like an entrepreneur, digital nomad, whatever, even if you're not, like, it's very practical. To keep it short, Monday to Sunday, you can always like go out for shopping. Like you can always get your groceries. Like the mall is open on Saturdays, obviously, and it's not crowded at all. That's the thing I really enjoy. Sunday, you can still go to like, what's it called? Holland and Barrett's if you're into like supplements, those kind of things, and regular groceries also on Sunday, all fine. And also you have these time and convenience stores. So even late at night, you can still order something in that's maybe urgent to you. For example, like when it comes to water or even drinks, to be honest, I'm like a convenient person, so I order that in. And the great thing about it is I can still like 11 or 12 and it's not expensive at all. So like delivery is like a euro 150 depending on what you order, but it's not like expensive at all and it's very convenient. Monday to Sunday, great opening hours, really enjoy that. The first thing I do not like about Cyprus is that it's so different. What the hell do I mean by that? I'm not talking about the culture per se. I'm not talking about the people. What I'm talking about are things like these. What I'm saying is, no, it's not just the power plugs. What I say is that, you know, Cyprus has, let's say, a kind of a part of the European Union in a sense, right? Like you gotta admit that you have Greece, you have Germany, those kind of countries, and everything's normal. People drive on the right side of the street, and you know, they have the regular power plugs like these. But in Cyprus, for some reason, that reason can be called like the British influence back then as part of the history, obviously. I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't even have a problem with driving on the left side. Like you get used to it very, very quickly. But the thing that can be bothering quite a bit is that you have these little tweaks and differences. And if you travel a lot or if you just change from one European country to another one, it's a bit annoying. Like you need these adapters. So, you know, you're ready to go. Even in Greece, you can just use the German ones. So, and with the car, it's the same thing. So if you're from the US, you probably don't have a problem with this at all when it comes to the power plugs. And if you're from the UK, you don't have a problem with this point either because you drive on the left-hand side anyway. But to me and some other people who travel quite a bit, and whenever you cross Cyprus, it's different and it can be a bit annoying. I'm not gonna lie. The second thing I really like about Cyprus, like I would say from the get-go, is that's the people. I'm living in Cyprus for 9 months now, and I have not had any negative encounter with any Cypriot, let's say, right? So people were welcoming, they were quite open, and I guess most important thing is that they were like supportive in a sense, right? So I did not necessarily have the, you know, like the situation where I had a lot of Cypriots coming up at me and like, hey, how you doing? And, you know, not that American style. But if you open your mouth and you talk to them, you are perfectly fine. They will talk to you. They will help you. They will give you a lot of advice. And from the get-go, I had the feeling that they would really, you know, like kind of pick me up in a sense and get me into those a little bit of like insider information on cultural aspects, the food, like traditional dining, and like a whole sort of cultural aspects. If you're younger, if you're a student or whatever, and you go to university here, like you can literally just go to the gym, and it's quite easy to get into like a conversation or like, you know, to hook up with the people. And that's something that I definitely enjoyed, that people are quite, let's say, supportive if you make a little move, and they're also always willing to help you out on something, and they are like generous and friendly and just cool people, right? That's definitely a very positive aspect because it's such a substantial aspect of living in a country, obviously. The second thing that I hate about Cyprus from the very beginning until now, and I will never get used to it. As I told you, I just gotta tip my head slightly to the right, and I'm looking at the thing that will always bother me living in this country. You know what? Maybe the following clip will shed some more light on that matter. The problem that I'm talking about is, come out of my elevator. This is the door to my flat. And let's open it up. And then you will see that there is a hallway. No, wait, there's no hallway. It's just right into the apartment. And there's just, yeah, you come from outside and you're basically in the living area right away. Yeah, you saw it yourself, right? Like you enter the door and you right in the living area or in the kitchen, wherever, right? There's no hallways, no corridors, whatever, right? Like no entry kind of welcoming area before you actually get into that living area, right? And it feels like it feels a bit open, to be honest. Like literally, like you would just walk into an apartment, and every single apartment I was looking at when I came here, like those 20 apartments, they're all built like this. They don't have hallways here. And to me, to be honest, that is a bit of a problem. I just don't like it, right? I like to have some sort of like separation in between me and the area that I'm spending most of my time in my room, right? So that's something you could probably gotta get used to. And I think the only way to kind of like, I know that a couple of house owners, right, property owners, they build themselves. They often take care of it. They have a hallway or like, like an proper entry area. I think this is a very weird thing and it's hard to get used to it. But like, I'm cool with it now because I have like just 2 neighbors on the same floor and they're cool, right? They're amazing. So I'm lucky with it. But technically, like every person walking by, they're kind of walking past your living area, like this kind of room in between, this kind of space in between. The last point is the third one and applicable to actually both. It depends on your perspective. It depends on how you're wired. But technically, this is something that can be seen as quite positive and maybe not so positive, depending on, as I said, how you wired. In my case, to be very honest, I think that's rather positive and good for me because that's just how I am. What I'm talking about is bureaucracy. Yes, let me give you some more context on that. So I originally come from Germany, so I moved from Germany to Cyprus. And as some of you may know, Germany is quite a bureaucratic country. So I would say that in Germany, the whole, there's some sort of like meta structure that's almost, in my opinion, almost imposing you to do a lot of admin work and take care of that stuff. Obviously, if you do these things, you'll be fine. But I'm saying that it's disproportionately a lot. Like, and if you better not miss one single thing because they're gonna remind you. They're gonna remind you once, twice, 3 times, and they are after you, right? That's one of the things that really bothered me, to be honest, because as an entrepreneur, you wanna be focused on, providing value to your employee, like to the people you work with, employees, to like, the people you're providing value to, customers, whatever. And in Germany, it feels like you're working half for yourself and your structure, but half of it you're working for the government. I'm not only talking about the taxes here. I'm really talking about the whole like administrative structure that kind of like obviously forces you to have a lot of mail. For example, in Cyprus, I rarely get any mail, just the most basic things like my bills, electricity, rent, maybe some updates on like the landlord side, whatever. But in Germany, that's just way different, right? So the overcomplicated bureaucratic structure in countries like Germany, maybe some of the Nordics, but I'm not super well into that. But that's way different from Cyprus. Cyprus is, and that's actually what I mean, can be good, can be bad. If you're highly organized and, someone who really does things on time, a lot of into the admin stuff, then you could also be a little bit, let's say, aggravated by it, because in Cyprus, maybe from the tax side or the legal side, wherever, it takes a bit of time, right? People have, as I mentioned before, like they don't have the same sense of urgency, right? So if it's a couple of days after it, if it's like in a month even, it's still fine somehow, right? So it's a bit more laid back. I personally like it because it kind of does me a favor, because I'm just very similar, like I'm aligned with that, right? But if you're highly organized person, I would say high in conscientiousness, then yeah, you probably have a little bit of a pain because you'll be the one who's after the others. Them taking care of your paperwork, having things set on time and everything. But if you're not that type of person, then there's very little bureaucracy in Cyprus. There is some bureaucracy, obviously, but it will probably, be rather good for you, and you'll probably rather enjoy, because since I moved here, I have the feeling that I can actually focus on the things that matter to me, which is like my work, my business, creating YouTube content. By the way, subscribe if you want more. And also like my trainings and the workouts, right? So I'm not so much bothered anymore by all this paperwork. It needs to be done for sure, obviously, even in Cyprus, but it's not to that extreme level of making it a thing that actually like is another stressor for you. But it's just, a thing on the side, and that's the way people even treat and see it in Cyprus as well. I really hope you enjoyed this video. As I mentioned before, subscribe and like it, and of course, leave a comment, engage a little bit, and let me know if you have any questions.